Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge. How are we all feeling? Match day, first day of February. Can it be a big one for Manchester United? Hopefully it can do. My nose is running, which is not good. But look, one day left of the transfer window, and I've got to say, you've got to feel a little bit let down as a Man United fan. Liverpool are out there talking to three right backs because they've got an injury crisis at right back. Angel Gomez is there signing for Wolves, and you sort of sat here as a United fan going, oh, don't worry, Fabrizio Romano's just done another update for the 50th time this season saying we're going to make big moves in the summer. And let me guess, did he say that Anderson, Wharton and Baleba are our priorities? I mean, this has literally been United's transfer strategy for the last 6 months. We're going to make big moves in the summer. The priorities, Elliot Anderson, Baleba and Wharton. I mean, it's beyond boring. And I got sent 3 times clips of Fabrizio Romano last night saying, rest assured, Man United are going to make big moves in the summer. And I'm like, oh my God, like the January transfer window's been open for 31 days and we've done absolutely nothing. We're going to roll the dice and trust this ownership on big moves in the summer, which we know are going to be completely and utterly down to Champions League football. If we don't, the incredible thing is, if we get Champions League football, I'm sure we will spend big money. But if we don't get Champions League football, they'll use that as an excuse not to spend it. So I'm going to say right here, right now, that's out of order. Because if you had spent a bit of money in January, you would get Champions League football, and then we'd be definitely able to go big in the summer. If you don't spend money in January and we miss out because of that, we can't go big in the summer. So, you know, say it how it is. Instead of going, the plan is to go big in the summer. If we get Champions League football, and you're jeopardising that by doing sod all. You've got 24 hours to do something, and let's get real. Michael Carrick's in a transfer panic now because he's probably going to get a load of shit, isn't he? Let's get real. So a few bits to go through. I also want to talk about Garnacho on a positive. It is match day. We've got a few comments coming in from Carrick. It's just a quick morning show this morning because we are actually live at 12:30. Countdown to kickoff. 2 o'clock is the kickoff for the actual game. Protest today. Laura says the club is a disgrace. If you're in Manchester today and you're going to the game, then obviously it's your choice. But there is a protest at Old Trafford before the game, 1 o'clock. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference. If you're there, obviously no one can tell you to do it. There'll be a lot of people who don't bother for whatever reason. But if you are in Manchester and you're going to the game, the protest is there. And this is against this type of decisions that run the football club. It's against these types of things, this lack of ambition, this... Look, if you can't see the next 5 years of Manchester United, you're a moron. If you can't see it, because you've seen the last 10 years of it, it's playing at running a football club. It's business first. It's any football club that's worth their salt would have done some business in January. Villa are doing it. Liverpool are doing it. Wolves are doing it. Man United aren't doing it. Like, any football club in our position would be doing business, and we don't do it. So why do you think they're suddenly going to start doing it next January, or the January after, or the January after that? Why do you suddenly think that because last summer we didn't buy a midfielder when we needed one, this summer we'll get everything we need, or next summer we'll get everything we need? It's staring you in the face. And if you want to tolerate that and be quiet about the Glazers and be quiet about Sir Jim Radcliffe, that's up to you. That's your prerogative. There's plenty of people who just want to stay quiet and say, I'm not getting involved. But the reality is, don't come moaning when we're sacking another manager or we're playing shit or we're not in the Champions League, because it's coming. It's definitely coming. We're not going to be in the Champions League for the next 5 years. We're not going to win the title in the next 5 years because of these owners. So if you want to just say, oh, I don't think it's the time because we've won a couple of games with Carrick, or I like the new kit, the reality is we in this community have been talking about this ownership for years. And it is a joke. And it's literally symbolised in front of you today. And you know the funny thing is as well, I read on social media today, if Man United lost the game today, people would turn up for the protest more. But because we've won the last 2 games and they don't know whether we're going to lose today, people won't turn up. And this is the problem we have. But look, the protests are there. If you want to be part of them, you can. If you don't want to be part of them, you don't have to be. But there we go. Spend in January equals guaranteed Champions League football. No spend equals uncertainty, says Amit. Gomez is going to Wolves. Should we have got him on loan, says Jack. And you would think with the lack of anything from the board means they have plenty of time to prep and be busy in the summer, but we're incompetent, says BT. Look, what's happening this morning is Gertruda the right-back who's on loan from Leipzig to Sunderland and has done very well, is cancelling his loan to Sunderland to join Liverpool. If Liverpool can't do that deal, they're looking at Dumfries. I mean, this is Liverpool Football Club, who spent £500 million in the summer, who've got a right-back crisis, so they're going to get a right-back. I mean, it's almost painful how proper football clubs work, isn't it? We've got a weakness in our team for the last few months. We need to go and solve that problem. That's what Liverpool are going to do. And also, they were very impressive last night. I mean, I've sort of put my hand up. I've written Liverpool off. I think the Champions League is there for us, and we'd be, you know, I think it's a wide open door to walk through. But to be fair, the way Liverpool played in the second half yesterday, it's still in our hands, of course it is, but it might not be straightforward. Chelsea are losing 2-0 at half-time and they win 3-2. So Chelsea and Liverpool aren't going to relinquish the top 5 very easily. And that's going to be a battle for us. But don't worry everybody. Carrick's at the wheel. All we've done in January is sack our manager, abandon a project that was meant to be the project, and not spend any money in the January transfer window. Just don't worry though, it's fine. Liverpool and Chelsea might be having a renaissance for the next few months, but don't worry, we've got Glinios in charge and Jason Wilcox, and their big plan was to sack the manager and do fuck all in the window. So don't worry about it. I'm sure we're going to be absolutely fine. We've just got to trust in Glinios and these set of players that have served us so well over the last few years when we've needed consistency and results. I mean, you know, I'm not panicking yet. I'm positive that we can beat Fulham today, but we are rolling a dice, and that's not what a football club should do. You shouldn't be risk. We're rolling a dice, and I understand the positivity. I mean, I think we will win today, but nobody can tell me we're not rolling a dice. We're playing a very risky game, ignoring a window when we need players to go with what we've got. I mean, as we know, Dorgu's out for a few weeks now. Who's next? We could lose 2 or 3 players. We might not lose any. Dorgu might be back in a month. But they're rolling a dice, and I think that's a very dangerous thing to do. Are we in talks with anybody at the moment? As of this morning, no. You can do business in the last 24 hours. I remember the year that we got a Garlo. We were talking to Joshua King, I think, in the morning, Rondon in the afternoon, and then we got a Garlo on the evening. So you can get loan deals done very, very quickly in the last day. And I'm not going to sit here and say that we can't do that. So look, we could do that, but what I will say is it's a panic, isn't it? Whatever we do, we're not doing it today. Whatever we do, we weren't doing it yesterday. Whatever we do, we weren't planning it at the start of the window. So whatever we do in the next 24 hours is pure panic. So all I can say is, look, it will be better than nothing if we do something, but is that what we are? Not got a clue what we're doing throughout the whole window, and then in the last 24 hours, we suddenly panic and do something. I mean, it doesn't fill you with the biggest amount of confidence that whatever we're going to do is not strategically planned. It's just literally pick up the phone and see what we can try and do. It's panic in the last day of the window if we do something, and that's just not good enough. We didn't get a midfielder in the summer. We've known about this, and there's been plenty of options that we could have gone for. I mean, I personally don't think Angel Gomez would have been the solution for Manchester United. Having said that, is he better than fresh air? Yes, i.e. he's better than nothing. But I think, you know, United are going big in the summer, everybody. We're going big in the summer. I mean, I just find that, I saw the clip, it got sent to me 3 times of Romano again going, we're going to go big in the summer. As David Ornstein said, as Ben Jacobs said, I'm not having a pop at any of these journalists, but I've heard it so many times in the last 6 months. Man United are going to go big on midfielders in the summer. Elliot Anderson, Wharton, Baleba, big, big, big. I'm like, you know what? I'm drowning. And there's a boat going past me. Save me. Don't worry, we're going to get a bigger boat in the summer. Just let me on the fucking dinghy. Get me out of the water. The sharks are circling. I can't carry on for much longer. Let me on the dinghy. No, don't worry. We're going to go back to shore, get a bigger boat for you. It's better. No, just let me on now. And that's what I feel like. We're halfway through a race and we're talking about buying trainers for the next race. I'm in a race now. Just what is it about this club that doesn't realise that January is halfway through a season that actually matters? We've just had a season where we've not been in Europe, and we're sitting here in January risking it again. But this is what happens when you've got prats in charge of your club. They're just not United fans. Like, we know what it's like not to be in Europe. We know what it's like being in the Europa League. Like, you want to be in the Champions League. And you're sat here halfway through a season with a hand on Champions League football, and you're looking at your owners going, this season's opened up massively for us. Let's grasp it. Nah, let's wait till the summer. And you're like, please, for the love of God, grasp this opportunity. It's so there. And you're going to risk it because you can't put your hand in your pocket because you're tight, because you're not fans. I don't know. I don't actually know, rather than just throw a few analogies at it and be a little bit frustrated, because I could absolutely lose my shit. And I'm sure many of you could. But what can we do? What can we do? We're run by morons. They are absolutely talentless, unambitious morons. Like, I've just never known anything. I've never understood it. I can't get my head around it at all. We've got such an opportunity to be in the Champions League next year. And it basically is massively enhanced by doing a little bit of business in January. We're not asking them to go and buy bloody Mbappe. We're saying just get a couple of players in that give us some squad depth. Look at what Villa have done with Douglas Luiz and Tammy Abraham. I mean, they're not necessarily starters, are they? But if Watkins gets injured, you've got Tammy Abraham. They've got a midfield crisis, you've got Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz doesn't really start for Villa. Tillemans is better, Kamara's better, Anana's probably better, McGinn's better, but he's there to give them rotational options. He's there to give them backup options. This is what we're talking about. I'm not saying go and buy Elliot Anderson in January. I'm saying go and get a player in that just makes us better than what we are and gives us a bit of depth so that we can get over the line. And they're not doing it. And we have got people in our fan base going, well, I'd rather wait till the summer than buy somebody now. Do both. Do fucking both. Nobody's saying don't buy in the summer. We're saying do bloody both. But whatever we do now, I don't think it's going to be massively exciting. Emily Derry says it's embarrassing that we're reduced to it's better than nothing as a fan base. I know, and I hate saying it, Emily, but it is true. But I hate saying it. Like, Angel Gomez would be better than nothing. Ndidi would be better than nothing. They're still not what we should be doing, but they are better than nothing. Those are the standards this ownership has reduced us to. We signed players like Sahar, Evra, Vidic, Bruno in January. Well, you're spot on, Emily. And look, how many of these better than nothing signings have we done over the years? Weghorst, Agala, Sabitzer. I mean, they're not what we should be doing, but we're not even doing it. I just got a text from United, 25% off food, Old Trafford, 12 till 1. Ineos trying to bribe fans with their own revenue to miss the protests, says Ollie Bretnell. I mean, yeah. I think they're going to do reduced lager sales as well, aren't they? And the queues will be massive. People will walk past the protest to get 25% off food so they can put money into the Glazers' pocket. It's a brilliant business model, and we deserve what we get because we'll never get rid of them. Mark, I know it's not good enough from 15th last year, but if we get Europe, that's an achievement and an improvement, although Glinios need to go, says Quinster. Probably the most irrelevant comment I've ever read in my life. I don't even know what that's meant to mean. So you're saying Glinios need to go, but we've improved from last year. I mean, what does that do? Where's the January signing? What does that do about our owners, mate? I mean, this is part of the problem, isn't it? People see the positives in shit and do nothing. I don't know what to say with that. Look, Quinster, I'm not having a pop at you. It's your opinion, of course. But what does that do? Glinios out, but we have improved. There's no buts about it. What about the £1 billion of debt? What about the fact that we're going to knock our stadium down? What about the fact that we haven't been in Europe for 50% of the last 13 years? What about the fact that we didn't buy a midfielder in the summer? What about the fact that we're not doing anything in January again? What about the fact that we've sacked another manager and paid £20 million to them again? But don't worry, we've slightly improved from 15th. Yeah, brilliant, lovely. Patrick Lynch says, don't be surprised that if we play badly today, which I hope not, the dissenting fans will be blamed. Watch the media somehow spin this in favour of the ownership either way. I think we'll win today, Patrick. I don't have any problem. I was saying this on the watch-along for Liverpool last night. I can easily deal with the two things. The ownership are a bloody disgrace. Beating Fulham today should happen. Beating Fulham today doesn't justify not doing anything in January. Beating Fulham today doesn't justify the fact that we've got complete and utter arseholes as owners. You can separate these two things. Unfortunately, I'd say 70,000 of the fans turning up today can't do that. They'll walk past the protest to walk into the ground because they can't differentiate between getting rid of the owners and supporting the team. Some people can't do it. However, I do agree with you on the point that the media just haven't got a bloody clue about what this is all about, and probably are tucked in with the ownership of Man United anyway. Long thought of that. Fans should vote with their feet and not turn up, says Laura. Match day and protest, excited for both, says Rajaf. Thank you very much for that as well. I'm at the game today and will be attending the protest, says Gregory. We'll keep the pre-match shows updated on here. Legend, mate. Thank you so much for telling us about that. Fulham will be a menace if we don't take our chances, says Lively. Look, I'm looking forward to the game. And in a positive sense, Carrick has given us escapism. Michael Carrick spoke about the protest. There is a couple of comments to come in from Carrick from his embargoed section. I've got a couple of other bits about Rashford to bring you in as well. Just around that Rashford story from last night with Carrick as well. Look, we reacted to it. It's in the Telegraph. It's a strange story that Carrick would bring Rashford back if he gets the job in the summer. I read a lot of your comments. A lot of people were saying, well, if Carrick wants to do that, I definitely don't want him to get the job. I mean, if I was Michael Carrick, I'd be doing a statement saying I didn't say that, because, I mean, that's just not understanding the temperature of the fan base. You don't want stupid managers like that. You don't. I'm sorry. And I don't think Carrick said it, but it was in the news yesterday. It was in the Telegraph, so we reacted to it. I just don't think Michael Carrick, who's desperate for the job and needs to get the support of the fans, is going to start saying, I want to bring Rashford back, because he's too intelligent for that. At best, he would know that splits the fans, and then that splits opinion against him. But the most important thing about Rashford is, one, he'd have to want to come back, which I think would be foolish. Two, Barcelona, doesn't matter what Man United want to do. Barcelona have priority on the option to buy. We can't do anything about it. So if Barcelona say we're taking up that option, that's the contract that Man United, Barcelona and Rashford signed. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about that anyway, if I'm being completely honest. Michael Carrick, speaking about the protests, said, it doesn't affect the team. I totally respect the supporters who have been incredible. Which I think is a good answer. He also was asked about the Glazers and if Man United can be successful under the Glazers. Now, this question was brilliant. You should get him a job in politics, because he doesn't actually answer the question. So Carrick was asked if United can be a success under the Glazers. He said, I think we've had a good couple of weeks and we're moving in the right direction and we want to keep building on that. So I think that's part of the focus here, is to never get satisfied with what we've just been done and keep moving forward. And the off-pitch, whatever goes on in and around the club, is not really for us as a playing group to worry about and let that affect performances. I think it's what we feel, what we can grasp at the minute. We feel the utmost support from the supporters as much as ever, and that's where we want to keep moving forwards. And that's an answer to a question he shouldn't be asked, really. He shouldn't be asked that question. I mean, the answer is no, Manchester United cannot be successful under the Glazers. But you can't ask an interim coach. I don't think you can even ask it to a permanent coach. I don't think Amrim could have answered this, and he was quite honest. I don't think Ranić can answer this, and he was very honest. Or Jose. But to ask it an interim is a bit ridiculous. Can this club be successful under the Glazers? Well, I'm going to sit here and tell you the truth. No, they're the worst thing that's happened to the club in the Premier League era. They're absolutely shit. They're moronic. And no, we'll never be successful. No, he's answered that in a very good way by not answering it and just saying, I'm here to focus on the now and get results. I'm not positive about... Quinster says, I'm not positive about it, but we're so rubbish last season. Any European football is an achievement, but I'm not happy with the club. It's in the gutter, says Quinster. Yeah, and I might have misinterpreted what you're saying, but what I am saying is, regardless of the excitement of the game today, I'm massively disappointed to wake up this morning and see Angel Gomez going to Wolves and Liverpool in the market for Dumfries and Gertruda, which they will get done in the next 24 hours. And you sort of like go, Liverpool weren't even planning to do anything last week. They get a couple of injuries and here we go. And it's like, we knew we needed a midfielder 5 months ago and we do nothing. I just cannot get on board with people that are positive about the future of this football club. I think you can be positive about the short term. I'm positive about today. I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll win. But I know inevitably that this Carrick bubble will burst. It might take a year, it might take a month, it might be today, but the Carrick bubble will burst. Because when you are above Man United, the balloon of positivity grows, right? But it's like being in a box that's filled with needles. That balloon will grow, but at some point it will pop. Because the Glazers and the Glinios have got all these needles all the way around the room. And the balloon could grow really big. The positivity could get really big, but it will pop. It inevitably will pop. So, yeah, I'll enjoy the now, but I know what the future is. Like, the balloon will pop. It doesn't matter whether they give Carrick a job or they don't give him a job, or we go big in the summer or we don't go big in the summer, or we qualify for the Champions League or we don't qualify for the Champions League. The negativity that is, imposed on us by this ownership will be back at some point, because you cannot grow in a room full of needles. You can't. As a balloon, you can't anyway. So this will pop at some point, but we should enjoy it, and I am excited. But yeah, look, Carrick can't answer that question. I can answer that question. We won't be successful under the Glazers. Kev says, hope we win today. However, I think if we win, we're not going to get a new player in, but the win is important. I don't think losing brings a new player in. I don't think winning brings a new player in. I think there is a chance, 50-50, that we'll bring someone in tomorrow. The quality of that player is probably going to be debatable. Maybe it will be Ndidi. Long-term keeper still or happy with Lamens, says Jack. I think with regards to the goalkeeper, I'm very happy with Le Mans, but we will need to bring somebody in. Who does Ndidi play for? Can somebody in the chat just tell me who Ndidi who plays for? I'd love to know. Is it Fenerbahce? I just want to check something very, very quickly. Besiktas, I was looking at bloody Fenerbahce because they're playing tomorrow, and I thought, well, there's no way we're going to sign him if he's playing. And also, he's had the problems with his dad as well, hasn't he? So they played yesterday, and I don't think he played for them. Oh, no, he did. He came off the bench, Ndidi. He was on the bench, and he did play. So, look, that could happen. He was on the bench, and he came on in a 2-1 win. So, yeah, I was just wondering whether he was still on compassionate leave because of his dad dying. But he did play football yesterday. So, look, that Ndidi deal could happen tomorrow. It could happen tomorrow. Yeah, we do need a goalkeeper to challenge Le Mans, but I'm very happy with him at the moment. Very happy with him. Talking about, look, it would be remiss of me not to talk about this, and I'm not going to not talk about it. I think when you talk about Manchester United and positivity, the positivity is the way that we've played in the last 2 games. The positivity is the way the players have reacted to Michael Carrick and what he and his team have done, and long may that continue. I think you're always fighting with one arm behind your back. But, look, there's not a lot to be positive about with regards to Manchester United, but I watched Chelsea last night, and I watched Garnacho against Wan-Bissaka, and I said before the game kicked off, 2 ex-Man United players. A lot of people say we should have kept Wan-Bissaka over Dalot. I think it was close at the time, and it's probably, when it's a close debate, sometimes one's doing well and one's not doing the other, you will flip and go, it should have been Wan-Bissaka who stayed. I get that. But I did say before the game, it's going to be a very interesting game, because Wan-Bissaka, when he's on it, is quicker than Garnacho, he's stronger than Garnacho, and he's got more stamina than Garnacho. He could bully him, and he absolutely destroyed him in that first half. He made him look like a shit amateur, really. He absolutely ran off him so many times. Both goals came from that. Garnacho was shit, got subbed off at half-time, and I thought, you know what? In a world where Man United get a lot of things wrong, I watched that yesterday, and I thought about him prancing around in a Villa shirt like the big all I am, and I thought, you know what? We haven't had a lot to celebrate this season, but I'm definitely mentioning that on the morning show, because that performance from Garnacho yesterday, I don't think anybody can sit here and say Amrin wasn't right, Wilcox wasn't right, Barada wasn't right, Sir Jim Radcliffe wasn't right, we weren't right. And look, that's not having an agenda. Like, that's actually saying, look, collectively, the club got that right in the summer. Garnacho might bounce back and become a good player, but look, Chelsea fans are seeing exactly why we got rid of him. And maybe he will wake up. Maybe he will grow up. As a Man United player, we all said it. He's a talented player, but he thinks he's made it before he has. His ego is out of control. He's one of them players who believes his hype, and he hasn't actually put the work in to get anywhere near the player he should be. So look, maybe at Chelsea he becomes a good player. But I'm going to say here right now, if he becomes a good player in the future, that's because he's dealt with the issues at Chelsea. The bounce from Man United to prove us wrong, that's dead. Like, you've just put in a generational stinker in front of the whole world last night. That's your problem. That's Chelsea's problem. If you come back from that, well done. But I don't want to ever hear, oh, he sat Man United down, because he hasn't. He's had 6 months to sit Man United down, and he's done sod all. And he's just put in the worst performance I've seen him ever put in. So if he comes back from that, fine. But don't ever come back saying you proved Man United wrong. You've had your 6 months, and you've just put in the worst performance I've ever seen him ever put in. He was absolutely terrible. And Man United were right to get rid of him. And I think Chelsea fans who were sort of giving it a little bit... To be fair to Chelsea fans, I think a lot of them were very worried about that deal. There was a few gobbing off, but looking at it last night, I think Chelsea fans can see exactly why Man United fans weren't that bothered about him going. And in a world where we're just so fed up with a lot of things to do with the club, I thought that one was worth mentioning, because we did get that right. We did. And I know it was probably predominantly led by Amorim, if we're being honest, but he can't remove those players if... Well, look at Jose Mourinho. I want to get rid of Luke Shaw. I want to get rid of Martial. No, you're not doing it. The club easily could have said, you're not getting rid of a 20-year-old who's come through the youth setup. They did back him on that. Now, they probably backed him because it's pure profit, if we're being honest, but at least they backed him. So, look, we got that right. We got that right. And I think some people forget that in the rebuild that's been going on, well, the manager's gone now, but whoever's the next manager, this needs to continue. There are still issues in the United dressing room that need to be removed. And we did start that. You know, Amorim barely got a year, but if you think about some of the players that he removed, and Garnacho was a big one, that they were the right things to do. And we do need to keep doing that. So it's not just about incomings, it's about outgoings as well. And look, I don't know who's on your outgoing list. I don't know who's on the next manager's list. We don't know. But, you know, that's a big part of it as well. We do need to keep doing that. Do you reckon Carrick would thrive under different owners as the Premier League, says Amit? I think any manager would thrive under better owners. Yes. Garnacho was getting bullied by Wan-Bissaka all night, says Billy. And no, but I just want look. I just don't want it. I don't want to be going like, you know, protests. Turn up if you're there. It's disgraceful that we're not doing anything in January. These owners don't know what they're doing. They don't get it. You know, that's all true. But there is a game today that I think we will win. That's positive. And there was a match last night where we got rid of a player in the summer and we were absolutely right. And I've seen people go, oh, you know, that was a mistake or that and the other. The minute you put the Villa shirt on, goodbye. And I was a big fan of Garnacho. I stuck up for Garnacho. But the minute you did that, you shat on the club, goodbye. That's it. And the club were right. And look, there's so many things the club do wrong. And I know we've got a different manager now, but I would say on that, absolutely, they nailed it perfectly. And you think about the replacements, Garnacho out, Cunha and Mbeumo in, that's heading in the right direction. I would like to see more of that. Removal of young players that aren't fit to wear the shirt and bringing in more experienced players. That, to me, is key. We need to bring in more Mbeumo's and Cunha's, definitely. This stems from fear and job preservation by the usual suspects, says Ewan. Instead of signing players and pushing for the Champions League, they hide behind better players will be available in the summer. It's completely back to front. Well, it's just, you're right, Ewan. It's being crap at your job. It's being crap at your job. It's like, how hard is it for me, as a director of football, to say to Sir Jim Radcliffe, I think we should sign Elliot Anderson or Adam Wharton? I mean, we're meant to have the best in class. I think it's a really good point from Ewan, and I will clarify this point further. We're meant to be recruiting best in class. You know, the best in class directors of football, they're the people that go and buy players that nobody was expecting for really good fees. They're not the obvious ones. Like, the best director in football is not the one who gets Kylian Mbappe from PSG or Jude Bellingham from Dortmund, or Bruno Fernandes from Manchester United, or Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest. The best director of football is the person that goes and gets Tammy Abraham out of Turkey because you need a backup striker to Ollie Watkins, or the guy that goes and gets Gertruda from Sunderland, who's playing really well for them, but cancels the RB Leipzig loans to bring him into Liverpool. Like, the Brighton director of football who goes and gets the guy from France who ends up being the next Caicedo. That's a director of football. because most of the time it doesn't cost them a lot, but it's creative. I mean, that Liverpool deal that they're going to do for Gertruda is incredible. He's playing for Sunderland in a very good team on loan from RB Leipzig, and Liverpool have spoken to Leipzig and his agent and Sunderland, and Sunderland are having to sort a replacement out because he's cancelling the loan to Sunderland to go to Liverpool. Man United would go, he looks quite good. We can't do anything though because he's on loan to Sunderland. They're literally getting the loan cancelled to take him to Liverpool. That's ambitious. That's a good director of football. That's running a football club. Running a football club is not going, oh, Elliot Anderson's the best midfielder in the Premier League that's available in the summer. Let's go big on him. Ooh, tell Fabrizio, tell David. That's not being a good director of football. That's bloody obvious. Every single one of you could do that job. Every single one of you could do that job. Who should we sign in the summer, Jason? Well, Elliot Anderson. Well, everyone else is going to go for him. Tell Fabrizio we're going big. Yeah, it's not best in class. That's obvious. It's obvious. I look at best in class, and as I say, I see clubs doing stuff even in the last few weeks, and I go, that's intelligent, that's intelligent, that's intelligent. You know what Man City have done? Gehi was not expected to go until the summer. They've given Palace 20 million and they've got him. Semenyo, release clause, got him. That's in January. Most clubs will wait until the summer to do that. They've gone in January. That's best in class. That's what it is. With all the big results over the weekend, we need to set a marker down today, says All Might 87. Yeah, well, look, I am confident about today. I think that it's exciting because it's going to be a different team. Low block, counter-attacking. But I genuinely think there's a few people worried about today. And you're right to be worried about today. I mean, I would not be surprised if at 4 o'clock today we've lost or drawn. However, I just think that we've simplified everything, and the players are enjoying the praise and the fans are enjoying the results. And I just don't think Carrick will allow them to switch off. Somebody in the chat says, please don't be confident. I hate it when you're confident. But look, I'm very excited about it. We do need the 3 points. When you look at the league table, it's not as good as it could have been. It's not the end of the world, but it's one of those weekends where you just need to win. I think Liverpool yesterday looked like they might draw. Chelsea looked like they might lose. They both won. So even winning today still puts us in this top 4 race. Now, I'm confident that Liverpool are going to drop points in their next 2 games because they've got Man City and then they've got Sunderland away. Chelsea got a couple of winnable games. So, look, even winning every week now doesn't necessarily start to open the gap. It's typical. I said this might happen. Up until Christmas, everybody was so inconsistent and nobody could win 2 games in a row. We're now starting to see teams win. But this happened with Man City last year. They were crap until Christmas, and then the second half of the season, they just went win, win, win and got into the top 4. It's funny when people's season's in jeopardy, and especially those top sides, they suddenly start to find results. So, look, we've just got to win today. We've got a great opportunity. We've just got to win. Fearful can't counter Fulham. Cunha left. Liverpool, Chelsea win as well, says Anthony. But look, makes it more interesting. Makes it more interesting. I hope we don't win. I hope we don't drop off now, says Tom Grant. Thank you very much for your super chat, Tom. Appreciate that. Right, we are back live with you in less than a couple of hours, so make sure you smash a like and subscribe, and I will speak to you on the next one. I'm live with you at 1:30 because it's 2 o'clock kickoff, but countdown to kickoff actually might be live at midday. Double check. I think they're live at midday. There we go. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will speak to you all in a bit. Take care. Give me your thoughts on the transfer window, and let's see what happens in the next 24 hours. But we've got to get the win today. Take care.